Oh, God. Well, I'm Andrew Riddick.
And I'm Kristen Flesko.
So this time we're going to talk about cheap/indie work, and the question that we got is, out of 100 emails, how many are flat out ignored, acknowledged, and don't lead anywhere, land work, and are responded with, our budget is too tight, do something for free? How often are we solicited for free/cheap work? We're going to mold those two together. Out of 100 emails, I really don't cold call email people anymore.
There's no point to it.
Yeah, let's pretend it's like the people that we meet at a convention and stuff that we got from there. How many of those would be actually returned back? We'll just sort of substitute it out for that instead, because we really don't the term is cold call, but that's with phones, and we just don't flat out email random people. You just don't do that. That doesn't do anything. So out of 100 emails, 0, because it doesn't work. But let's just say we get 100 business cards from art directors at a convention. How many of those come back to us? Type of thing. I would say, if there are business cards at a convention, I would say most of them tend to respond back.
Yeah.
Because they've only given you those cards if they are actually interested in working with you.
Yeah. They won't give you a business card if they don't want to work with you.
Yeah. I think one time somebody gave me a business card because he was looking to have me move down and join his team, but they wouldn't pay for me moving, and it was paying less than what I currently make, so it's just well, thanks for the card, I'm not going to email you. Well, 100 is a lot. You don't get 100, businesses.
No, you usually talk to, I think, probably 10
Let's say out of 10. Yeah, let's say out of 10.
Out of 10?
Out of 10 business cards that you get, I would say 6 of them are going to lead you to, some sort of more or less immediate work. More times than not, it'll be maybe something in a month.
And a lot of the times, the reason why the other 40% don't end up, responding back is mostly just because they don't have work at the moment, but they will in the future. So it's never a good idea to, completely write them off. And remember, if they're interested in your work, a lot of times they do enjoy getting updated occasionally. I know some people send postcards to...
Yeah, a good way to do it is just Christmas, or any sort of holiday. Just make, some sort of illustration themed towards that, and then you just send them, keeping you in my thoughts.
Yeah.
Also, or here's an example of good work that I've done recently.
Yeah, I mean, people like getting stuff like that.
Yeah,
and plus, it's just a little postcard in the mail. If they're not interested, then at least you've spent, maybe $1 max, including the printing and the, the stamp and stuff.
That's more of an older way of sort of doing that, but I've heard that people still do that nowadays.
Apparently Noah Bradley did. He said it was successful, so...
Well, that's the thing. It's
so maybe...
My teacher did that for some of his things, and I guess that I've never done that. I wanted to, I just never get the illustration done in time, and then I'm just tired. I just don't feel like it.
But because it's more usual to be digital, sometimes... sending something a little unique like that might be a good idea, and I guess that's the idea of that's why I mentioned him, because he's one of the artists that I remember saying that he did it, and although it's not probably right for everyone, he seemed to think that it was a good idea.
No, I've heard that that's a good idea to do that. So of those, you're probably going to get about 60 or 70% of those back are going to be people with some sort of offer, and then of those 70, 20% of those people are going to be, no, more than that. 40% of those people are going to be offers you don't really want to take, because the money's probably not worth it.
It happens.
When you're starting out, you're going to get asked to do starting out things, which is sort of shittier pay and more work, because a lot of companies tend to operate in that area, which is they hire people that they're not bad, but they're not the best people out there, obviously, because people that already get paid a decent amount of money are not going to do some $33 illustration,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mentioned also, the other ones who don't respond a lot of times, it's just they don't have work immediately for you. Sometimes they would. Sometimes maybe they just forget, but a lot of times it's just
most of the times you'll be told that as you're talking with them. You're I don't have anything right now, but maybe, some months down the line, which is anything from a month to a number of years.
Yeah.
But that happens as well.
Yeah,
so
and
I
they
would
keep
say
your art on file a lot of times. They don't just... sometimes they'll just update. They'll occasionally update. And that's why sometimes it's good to just send a follow-up email, even a year later. Even if you haven't worked with them, to say, hey, look at my new portfolio stuff.
Or companies like Wizards of the Coast tend to do a thing that you're only supposed to send them new artwork every 6 months, I think is their allotted time.
No more than 6 months. No more often than 6 months.
I did that for 3 years. Just sending it's been 6 months. Hey there, guys. There's my artwork. And
it depends. I mean, and plus, if you know, eventually, if you go to conventions, and you probably will see an art director more than once. Since I've met Cynthia Shepherd before, it was really easy to get. It was really nice in the interview because we could talk casually about things a little bit, and it's a little easier for them to keep you in mind.
So how often are we solicited for free/cheap work?
Way too often.
All the goddamn fucking time. A lot of the times people offer us exposure. Don't ever do anything for exposure because it literally doesn't ever give you anything.
Yeah, remember that if you do something, and that's different than doing something pro bono. Because it's basically, pro bono is basically doing something for free, but usually for a nonprofit. Or, for example, I've done work for charity art books.
Well, that's not the same as being solicited for.
Oh yeah, but that's a good thing to do for free. Is that's exposure that you want because you also own the rights to your own work, and a lot of times it's more.
What's the name of that game that we both worked on that was a flop on Kickstarter?
Tanuba or something.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, but
yeah, it was Tonaba.
Tonaba, I think, is
something like that. I would say only really if
you want to do it.
That tends to be what a lot of companies will offer, though. Yeah. They're like, "Oh, it's really help you get your name out there." And
yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, it is. The best way that I can relate to that is I thought that would help me with Asimov's, the magazine cover that I got, because it was in fucking supermarkets everywhere. It literally got me zero work ever.
Yeah, exposure isn't a thing.
Yeah, exposure does not matter.
And plus, you could just do your own artwork and get the exposure that you would probably want, because I'm guessing that you would be drawing something you'd want to do.
Yeah.
So why not get exposure for something like that instead of I just need a guy and he needs to be standing there and he's wearing purple armor, but it has green filigree on it. Remember, it must be green. It must be opal green.
How many times have you taken some sort of indie work?
I usually choose not to, mostly because I've done it, I think, exactly once, but I was paid for it, believe it or not. And it was from a commissioner I'd worked with prior and that I really enjoyed. And she worked for a company at that point. I was like, oh, would you like to do work for us? And it never materialized into more work, but I was paid for it, and I did enjoy that, and it paid pretty much industry standard. But of course, exposure is a terrible way to be paid.
Yeah, I would say I would only think about doing that artwork if it's something you would be interested in just drawing on your own anyways. Yeah. So there's a possibility you might get paid for it, but that literally just your favorite topics that you like to draw, maybe do one thing,
Yeah, I like to do one or two things a year that's charity.
I would say, I did this one work for, I did a number of things for quote-unquote games that were going to happen on Kickstarter. None of them ever got funded. One of them was Canvas, and I never fucking heard of it. It was. They had this weird mechanic that you would go into these different paintings, and then
like Super Mario,
sort of like Super Mario, except it was dark. So it was like a nightmare thing. You go into these different
Castlevania: The Portrait of Ruin.
Probably. It's probably that's my favorite thing. Is people are like, "Oh, I've got this brilliant idea. I'm going to make the new Mario Brothers." And that was one of the guys, and I had to design this character, and he was supposed to have, similar iconic type of dress and stuff like that, except he was a little brown-haired boy and just stupid shit.
Just generic,
This guy, I don't even know how the fuck this guy found me. He got my phone number somehow, and then he just called me, and then I talked with him. I'm very, very awkward on the phone, so I awkwardly talked to this guy for an hour. He's like, can you draw me some sprite work? I need some sprites. And I was at a point that I really needed money, so I could pay you I think we'd agreed to $50 an hour or something, because that was my rate if I don't know what the hell's going on. They're like, yeah, I can do some. I think maybe I offered concept work, and I'm like, yeah, $50 an hour. How about that? And then he had agreed to that. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. I'll draw whatever the fuck you want for $50 an hour. And he had come up with this sprite thing that I never did, and then I essentially just came up with new character designs, and I never even posted them. And then it became a really big pain in the ass to try and get my money from him. And he had asked for more work, and I told him I wouldn't do the other work until I got paid first, and then I got paid finally by being sent a check in the mail or something. personal
It
fucking...
works,
Well,
I
yeah.
guess. I mean...
What the fuck ever. And
only in America would you be paid by check.
he asked for this other stuff, and then I think he said he lost his job and he couldn't pay for it anymore. And then I eventually didn't get paid for some of the work that I did. It wasn't a ton of work. It was like, he owes me like $60 or something, and it's like not worth chasing somebody down for.
Yeah, like sometimes that'll happen, and unfortunately with freelance, you're going to get burned sometimes.
But it was just hilarious. It was like an iOS game.
Yeah.
Where it's supposed to be like the new Super Mario Brothers, and it's just the exact same fucking thing. It had nothing interesting to it. He had like a demo that he made, and character's name was Ariel.
Eustace and Ariel, the most weird boy names ever. I'm sorry, any Eustaces and Ariels. Your names are old-fashioned.
I would say I mostly get solicited for free work on DeviantArt or Tumblr.
Wow, you want to check out this contest I'm running?
Yeah, fuck that.
Like I hate
I've sent an email to literally every single Deviant artist, hoping somebody will do artwork for this $50 Weight Combat Boo.
It's my birthday, and I'd like to have people enter my contest.
And I have no time for that anymore, so I just report those people just immediately.
I do too. Anytime I can, but unfortunately on the Tumblr chat feature, apparently you're not able to report people.
I got something, was it yesterday? When somebody's like, would you like to provide artwork?
But was it a note or a chat?
It was a note.
That's the message one. You can't
it is a message one. I can't do anything. Hello, my name is Jacob. I've been looking for artists to help me on a project, and I found you are art. Very beautiful. Well done, and what I'm looking for. Before I say anything else, I have to mention I have absolutely no money, parentheses yet, and cannot pay you for any work done. I apologize for this, but just in case you don't care about that, unfortunately... I don't really care too much about money, but everybody else does, and they're the people that I pay my bills to. So, well wishes will not get me food. Just in case you don't care about that, I'll explain a little of what the project is. I'm calling it Humanity. It is a video game concept of my own, parentheses, creation, in a sense. What? And I didn't actually get this far, because it said, you don't care about money, and then I just clicked out of it.
I always like reading them longer, because I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I just like punishing myself by reading this shit.
It is a video game concept of my own, creation in a sense, and I have, parentheses, almost everything planned out and thought of. Unfortunately...
Oh my god, this is actually really long.
I have almost now skill in digital or traditional art, and instead of just training over and over, I'd ask around. So, this is why I like to call it the idea man who thinks he has $1 million idea, and he doesn't understand that practical application and actually doing stuff is where those $1 million tend to lie, because everybody can have a fucking idea, you just actually have to do stuff.
Yeah, the problem with someone, I'd say 999 times out of 1,000, the people who say, I have a video game idea are fucking idiots. And don't worry.
I wouldn't even say there's one person in those 1,000, because those people don't have they have better sense
if it's
than
a
just
studio that
ask
says
random people.
Yeah. Basically, if someone says they have a video game idea, they're probably in high school or college, and they want you to work for free.
Yes.
Or they'll say, oh, I'll pay you in the project. Don't even do it.
Yeah, don't. Just don't bother.
It's not going to work. Just do your own stuff.
I am slowly trying to get better. So the task I'm asking is that if I give a description of a creature, I don't know if you are good with humanoid figures, vehicles, or weapons, so I'll stick with creatures for now. Good shot there. You can draw your interpretation of it.
Is it you are, or actually
it's your.
Oh, okay.
We then work together to fix any kinks and create a final project creature. Final perfect creature, sorry. Afterwards, you can do with what you wish with the image, as it is technically and literally yours. Yeah, you don't have to do technically. It is fucking mine, because you're not fucking paying me. As long as you allows me to use it in Humanity. That is all I'll say for now. As I don't want to waste too much of your time, I hope you'll consider it. Even if you do not wish to participate, a message back would be much appreciated, as it clarifies that at least it reached you, and that you have at least read it. Thank you, have a nice day, and hope to hear back from you. That's probably nicer.
Yeah.
Well, let me just read it out loud on a podcast instead.
That's the kind of shit that we get more often than we should. It should literally never happen.
See, the only thing that I do sort of look out for is sometimes legit companies will actually contact you on DeviantArt, and
really, I've never had that happen.
I've had that happen a few times where they're just like, they'll make like a really quick dummy account, and they use it as a way to sort of look for artists and illustrators and stuff online. And to be fair, Star City Games did that as well. When they were looking for a new creature collection person and I was in the running, and they had to do that right behind me as I listened to them like, wow, I really like this person's artwork. Yeah, we could contact this person. I'm like, I'm right here.
Because I just
some companies do that though. They will troll and
like I've gotten like,
and I don't want to
make your artwork into t-shirt, a dollar per t-shirt, and it's like, God, just fuck y'all, just go, stop it, If I want to make my own fucking t-shirts, I'll design for a t-shirt. Don't just put my artwork on a t-shirt and give me $1 for it. It's stupid.
But, I mean, sometimes you will find actual companies, and they tend to be pretty much unmarked. Like, it'll just have a name and they have no deviations, and those are the only people, which is weird as it sounds, that I will slightly look into what they're talking about. Yeah, if it's like a person where they're like a 14-year-old, and they just have a bunch of, like, Inuyasha drawings all over their page.
Their contest.
And, yeah, not their contest. They're like, oh, I'm starting a video game? Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah. If they're starting a video game or a manga, especially a fucking manga, like, they're like, I have this great idea for a manga.
I see that you don't do any sort of sequential images, so I think you'd be really good at laying out this comic book for
I'm
me.
desperate for anything. I'm desperate for a living, breathing artist to do this work for me so I don't have to do any hard work.
Exactly.
Just saying,
life is difficult,
art is a lot harder
and
than
I just
writing
want stuff
for
done
that
for me.
thing.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. For me, it's like what's sad is that in the comic book industry, writers and artists are paid the same, but writers get their work done, like, literally, like, 5 times as fast, and they're paid literally the same.
Yeah, the comic book industry is something I don't have very much.
Well, I don't care about American comic books. So in Japanese comic books, they basically get paid like shit until they might make it, and then they're paid handsomely.
Well,
but they literally, their animators are paid like $2 a drawing, like max.
Probably.
And then so they basically make maybe $15,000 a year, and then they have to live in like Tokyo. You can't do it.
Yeah. Anyways, let's not talk about mangas. Manga artists.
There's a lot of that's what I've gotten before is like I have this manga that I want drawn, but I can't draw, and I want someone to draw my ideas for me.
Yeah.
It's like, what's stopping me from just doing my own idea?
Exactly, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, and you'll find that on Kickstarter,
Jesus.
on like really shitty Kickstarters, or my favorite Reddit, shitty Kickstarters, where the person is like, I have this great idea for this perpetual motion machine that will solve all the world's energy problems. I just need a scientist to figure it out for me. And I've seen this one link to this business post is like, they have to understand that ideas are worth nothing. And it's execution and going through something that's worth anything.
Yeah, that's a really poignant way of saying it. Most ideas are shit. Like, even when you're
it's
drawing
not that ideas
stuff,
are shit, it's just having an idea doesn't mean anything.
Well, plus, like, the first... Ooh!
Yeah, so basically, if you're offered free/cheap work, unless it's something you are goddamn raring to do, don't bother.
Like, man, I just need dragons. You'll own the rights to this. I just need dragons, and you're like, I love dragons. Maybe that's a good one to pro bono.
That's a possible. I wouldn't even go full in on that. Definitely look at the background of the person that's asking you, and then just keep in the back of your mind, if this person has to ask a random stranger, how much knowledge do they have of the subject?
Probably nothing.
The answer is none.
So you could literally, like, just walk away at any time.
Oh, that's what I did for Canvas. I designed them this, like, Hive bee thing, and then they wanted, like, a turnaround of it. And I just mostly did it so I could pad out my portfolio with some concept work.
Yeah, and remember, you're not burning a bridge if there is no bridge that you crossed to begin with. Like, if they're not paying you.
They're more or less just sending you paper airplanes across the way, and you're sending them back, and you can just stop sending them paper airplanes, and they can't do shit.
I know. What are they going to do? Have an amphibious tank to come and steal you away?
Sure as fuck aren't.
Yeah, they don't have that. They don't have a budget for that. Because they're not paying you.
And to reiterate the first part of our first question, don't send emails.
Yeah, don't. Just meet people in person, and when they give you a business card, just say, wow, it was really interesting meeting you, and then mention something they said to you. Take notes.
Yeah.
And then say, like, I really appreciate the critique you gave me. X and Y was really insightful. Thank you very much. You mentioned you maybe had some work. I'd love to work with you guys sometime. I really enjoy your thing. Just keep it short and sweet. They have a business. They have like a million artists to look at.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like, don't write a goddamn novel to an art director.
Like keep it maybe max. Like,
I've had a hard time with money, and the good Lord will save me. But also, I need a job, and I could really use some work right now. Like, don't do that because you will
no
not
sob
get
story.
anything.
Just say, here's my basically like, hey, here's my portfolio. Thanks for talking with me.
Thank you so much for taking your time to go through everything. Here's some new pieces I've done in that time. Might be interesting to you.
Or not.
give me
then you leave.
give me money. No.
Yeah, no. So don't overthink it. Literally, just do the bare bones thing, and that's actually probably what they appreciate more. If they have to weed through your type, they're just going to close the email and delete it.
Yeah, they will. There is definitely a part, and I've heard a number of different art directors say that there is a part that if it gets beyond like one screen full or even like a couple paragraphs, they will just ignore it. Flat out.
Like a couple of like two tiny paragraphs, like where you basically just spaced it because you're going to like a thank you, like a couple of sentences, and then I'm available to work these time. Here's my other thing. Like that's probably fine.
That's perfectly fine. They're just mostly talking about like an entire page of shit. They're not going to weed through it.
Yeah,
just keep it short to the point. Hi, my name is Andrea Radek. I've done some work for Star City Games and Paizo and some other people. Here's my portfolio. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah. And thank them for their time because you're always talking to someone you know. And
fucking bye.
That's remember to add the F word. That's really important.
Some art directors really don't mind that, but don't.
Fucking bye.
Well, don't write fucking bye.
I would never. I basically be t-shirt casual about this. You know, you're not a business suit wearing professional, but you're a t-shirt professional.
Just be normal, as we've said in previous ones. Just be a normal person.
Please don't be weird.
Don't be
weird. Because that's the worst.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, just calm yourself down. Take a shot of Fireball, and just calm your nerves. You're fine.
We don't condone drinking. I'm
anti-drinking, but just if you're that nervous that you need alcohol, maybe you just need to. Maybe you need to talk to your doctor about how
so I've been Andrea Radek.
I've been Kristen Plesko.
And if you have any questions or anything, we are FridgeArtPodcast@gmail.com. You can also just leave a comment.
Yeah. Ask us questions.
Ask us questions. Like, share, subscribe. No.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions, though, just let us know. All right. Bye-bye. Say bye.
Later.